All right, I'm going to get started here. I wanted to share something today I thought was going to be kind of interesting. I'd been hearing about a fiend or a fine, depending on how you want to say it. Let me bring up the app I'm talking about. And this has been really interesting. There's some neat things about it that kind of drew my attention. And usually I'll go in and either play around or get started, or, if it's in kind of a beta, grab, a subscription and check things out and kind of report back. And I was about to do that. And I was like, you know what? This would actually be kind of fun to see what it's like going in a little blind. Obviously, I have experience with different tools. I've been using things like Notion, Miro, Roam Research, Obsidian, stuff like that for years. I love automation. I love tools. I love these knowledge management systems. But wanted one of the things I think that can get confusing to people new to using these tools, or who think about switching without thinking about the cost benefits, is how much time it can take and how easy or not or intuitive something is. And I know, not as a knock, I've played around with Tana and it is so cool, but I just couldn't invest the time to switch over, and didn't. I was kind of having to invent reasons for me to start using it. I could see some use cases where it would be amazing, and I do look forward to using it in the future, but I needed a lot of things templated for me to go out and find other people's stuff. So that kind of reminded me of this, where I was like, you know what? I think what I want to do is just kind of go in here blind, so to speak, and see what this looks like. So first of all, if you're not familiar with this, I want to kind of explain a little bit more. Plus, I'm learning it kind of as I go. And if you already know about this stuff and you're watching the replay, you can skip ahead. But this is the page. So what it's claiming, and what I've seen a lot of people say, is that it's like Miro and Notion. It's a workspace where it's merged with docs, whiteboards, and databases. And so I'm just going to scroll down through here, talking about, good job using Second Brain, and pulling up Tiago Forte's stuff there. And so they're showing here, you've got all this other stuff you can do. You can highlight, you can present, you can just do a ton of stuff here. So interesting, it looks a little hectic to me, but I like how they present it. It's really interesting. So, okay, trusted, consolidate your workflow with ease on a hyper-fused platform. Say goodbye to the hassle of switchover. I think this is a really important thing that they're talking about here. And this idea of, having to use a ton of different tools to get things done. That could be a really good use case for this. I'm interested on how that goes. I mean, there's some things where it's like Google Docs. I use it because it's interactive or interoperable with so many other things and teams that use it. So I probably would never, for example, just drop Google Docs, but it is interesting if it could replace a lot of these tools. I like this. We got book notes. And okay, I see some sort of organization there, which is something I'm interested in. So draw and visualize. Okay, like that. Although I'm a lefty and I use my mouse in my right hand, so if I try to draw, it's just going to get ugly. And an AI partner helps you write better. Interesting. Okay, chat with AI, edit inline. Okay, got it. And they build everything in public, so it's open source code. I think that's been a big deal. It's not as much for me, although I do like that it is open source, and it's kind of a plus, but not a requirement for me. And then, okay, so I'm not going to go through the docs or anything like that. Let's just go ahead and get started. See what happens here. We're going to open up and okay, so let's kind of go through here. I like this idea of looking at what they say first, because when I look at this, I see a lot of stuff. So I want to go and use this. So we're going to click on Learn More. Let's see, Meet Affine lets you think bigger, create faster. Okay, that's great. Let's learn more. Where are we going now? Interesting. Okay. Is this? Oh, it's just about the AI stuff. Okay. Don't need to know about that today. Okay, I see that. We have write, draw, plan all at once. Let's click in and see. Okay. Your local data is stored in the browser and may be lost. Don't risk it. Enable cloud now. I would definitely do that at some point. I would assume that's just probably tied to your Google account. So let's take a look and go in here. So if we scroll up and down, that's how you go up and down the page. We have our zoom in. I'm going to try Control on the keyboard. Yep, Control if you're on Windows. I forget what it is on the Apple stuff, but similar key. And then, yep, space is to change to your grabby hand so you can pan. So let's see. Let's scroll in. What is it? Open source workspace. You own it. You own your data. It's local first in real time. That's cool. A true canvas for blocks of any form. Let me scroll in on that. Many editor apps claim to be a canvas for productivity. Okay. Trello. Okay. We are building this to be open source, contains all the building blocks for docs, task management, and visual collaboration. Cool. To shape, not to adapt. Okay, that's interesting. I like that. Related articles. Let's see. Development, self-hosting, database reference. Let's see what's going on there. Okay, so that looks familiar. Like that. And what do we got? Their YouTube channel. Cool. Okay, so let's see. If I go here, up here at the top, it looks like we have a switch from page mode to edgeless mode. Okay, let's go back to page mode. Okay, that's kind of cool. So now we can just scroll through and see everything that was in here. That's interesting. And let me see, I'm going to go into all docs. Okay, so this is kind of where we were at the beginning. I see a filter up here. So I'm guessing date created, date updated, favorited tags. Okay, we've got collections and tags. So interested to see how this works. I'm going to create a new doc and call it Adam's first note. We've got updated, we've got info, we have tags. I'm going to call this a daily journal entry for a tag. That's kind of long, but sure, why not? And then we can add properties. Interesting. Okay, so not going to get into that, but I can see where they're going with this. Probably some, you can create your custom properties, and it's things that you could filter or do other things with. So I don't think that I wouldn't call that a basic getting started thing, but definitely something that allows you some flexibility, creativity in terms of filtering and other things. So let's go ahead and just start typing. Also, it looks like we've got the usual slash commands, AI, text, style. So we've got headings, code blocks, styles. Okay, new doc, we can link out to a bunch of stuff. Figma, GitHub, Loom. Okay, cool. Date and time. We can do a Kanban view. Okay, so I'm just going to do some stuff here because I said this was a daily journal and my first note. So giving Affine.pro a shot and sharing on YouTube how it goes live. A little scary. Okay, so it looks like it went ahead and linked it, which is fine. And then I guess I can do an inline view or a card view. Interesting. Okay, makes sense. So I wonder if I can, that's handy. You can just switch back, although it kind of, I don't like how it did that. So I'm just going to get rid of this. Okay, now let's try something. Okay, and if you start typing, like I was curious what the Kanban view, we can just create a Kanban right there. Test Kanban. And we, I guess, could give it a different view. We can give it a table view, a Kanban view. That makes sense. Task 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I like that. Very neat. Cool. Okay, so let's go back to all docs now and see what this looks like. We can see we've got our tags. And I assume if we click on tags, it goes in there. Let's create another note real quick and see how this works. I'm going to create a doc and let's do this. Another entry, and I'm just gonna add in another tag and just add some information text here. Okay, so now we've got that. If we go back, I'm curious now if I click on the tag, it goes back into, interesting, it goes into the whole entry. It doesn't go into the tag. So if we go into the tags, I would assume we click on that. And now we get into there. So I'm hoping there's maybe a quicker way. That seems a little odd that you can't click on it and see that, or maybe I'm doing it wrong. Let's see. Add to favorites, open a new tab. So I would expect if I click on the tag that I go to the, let me close that I go to the tag and then, okay. But anyways, not the end of the world. That looks like the tags is pretty well set up there and we can get to that quickly. So I am going to switch again and see what this looks like in edgeless mode. Okay, so just giving it a nice border. Okay, journals. I guess that would have made more sense instead of a doc. So we've got the strut or the dates up here. I wonder if we have can convert to edgeless, import, export. Um, quickly go through the days. So I guess if I wanted to, I could add the daily. Although I'm willing to bet that there's something in here that will let you find journal entries. So this is really a journal entry. Let's see, do tags. The tags, I don't know if they have inline tagging, maybe at comments. There we go. So we can link to other things. So I'm just going to say Adam's first note wasn't really in the journal. It was a doc that has a daily journal tag. Okay, cool. So let's now see what else we can do here. If I click on this, I would assume we just go to the first note. That's great. Okay, that's exactly how I expect that to work. And I'm going to go back to my docs. I'm going to go into my first note and I am going to add it as favorite. I assume that will favorite it. I'm curious. I guess you just use the star. So let's do that. And there we go. Now it's showing up in the favorites list. So that's kind of nice, handy way to quickly, build things over here. Let's create a collection. I'm guessing a collection would be a collection of docs. I'm just going to call it test collection. Smart folder where you can manually add docs or automatically add docs through rules. That's kind of cool. Maybe if you were, I guess, working on a project that had a lot of different things and you maybe give them tags, or we'll find out how this works, something like that, you can add them to there. So we can add rules or add docs. Okay, I think adding docs is pretty straightforward. That would just be where we add them to the collection by saying that we want them in the collection. Let's see what the rules look like. No rules, please add. We can add a filter. Selected docs refers to manually adding. You can, okay, got it. So add a filter. Okay, so yeah, that's what I was thinking. We could do a created date, an updated date, favorited, tags, or shares. I think tag makes sense in this case since I only have one tag. I'm going to use that, although I don't think I would have a collection of daily journals. I would just use it for like a project name. But let's say contains one of, does not contain. So a bunch of logic here on how you can do this, but I will put contains daily journal entry because that's the only one I have. And then I'm guessing you could, yep, you can mix and match here. Okay, so let's just save that real quick. And then there we go. Now we've got a collection that has everything. And then if I create another article with this tag or a doc or anything, then it will be added here. So let's go try that real quick. Gonna add a new doc, test tagging collection. We're gonna go to info, add daily journal entry, just add some test info there. Now we've got it. And if I go in here, I would think, yep, now we see it. So it's automatically collected that. That's kind of handy. Pretty cool. All right. So let's go over one thing I wanted to make sure I did was we've got kind of the journaling. I'm thinking of a project, something bigger. So I'm thinking here, let's try new edgeless. Oh, and this is nice over here. Import supports Markdown and Notion. So you could import a database potentially, or you could export from different places in Markdown, or just do a straight Notion import. So that's interesting and worth trying. Won't do it here, but if you want to give it a shot, as always with that type of stuff, I recommend doing a test import. Don't import a ton all at once. Probably, export a few pages, make sure things are kind of going how you want, then maybe delete those out and do a full import once you feel good about it. Okay, this is what it looks like with the edgeless. So I'm guessing I can just type in here and start doing stuff. I see down here we have some things, so I'm just gonna type text holder. Okay, this is kind of interesting. A pen. Oh boy. There we go. We got a pen. We got an eraser, thankfully. All right, we can erase that. So okay, that's how that works. When the eraser goes over any segment, it deletes whatever you drew there. That's kind of handy. Let's see an image. Let me go down to downloads. We'll do this handy. Oh boy, that is huge. So I wonder how if I can zoom out, then I can shrink it down and we can make it disappear. where did it go? Let's try Control Z. Okay. Interesting. Am I using the eraser? Apparently. So maybe I need to use the selector. Yep. Okay. So that's what that was. Interesting. So I'll go ahead and do that. And what else do we have? We have shapes. Okay. That's handy. Let's just put a square on there. All right. And then we can connect it over to the screenshot. And I'm going to put some text in there. Am I? Don't know if I am. Let's zoom in and see if this is possible. Text, I'm going to do text in blue. It's interesting. I won't go in there. Let's try that again. If now maybe I can select it and put it in there. Okay, so not sure why it wouldn't let me do that right away, but you can add that in there and present a frame, a straight line. I assume we can do some connections, different colors. Okay, so now I'm curious if I switch back into, okay, that's not going to show because I'm guessing it's not in this frame. So let's, guessing this is kind of like your canvas that translates. So let's go back over here. Interesting. Okay, so let's try, I'm testing the edgeless mode. And let's try some bulleted list. And let's do an image. And we're going to upload that one. Okay, so let's go back over here into the switch. And now that's interesting. Okay, so we've got kind of things going all over. So it might be that we want to move this stuff off of the actual document. And then let me just delete that, get that out of there. And then we have the document in here and we can use that as needed. I am going to switch back. I'm curious if we test, just to get the page longer, is it going to automatically resize? It is not. Okay, so that's interesting. We can see when I hover over it, that's really neat on the screen. You can see below it, it's showing up the text as kind of grayed out below it, what is on the page, but you're not currently showing, and then goes away when you move off it. So let's see, page mode index. Not sure what that was. And we will, okay, so that moves it. And then if we, okay, that automatically resized it. So kind of interesting. Definitely, I think a lot, I would probably at this point say, okay, if I like the idea of laying this stuff out, if I like the graphical parts of it, which I do, I would definitely, I'm going to need to spend some more time, and I won't spend, hours and hours looking at shapes and thinking about how to use this on a video. But I think I will go out and find out some more about this. The document parts of this is pretty straightforward to me as far as, let me add a title. As far as using it and kind of using any text editors, any knowledge management systems, I think that that is pretty good. The other thing I was thinking about here was, let's say if we wanted to maybe go more of a project, I think I would start, with like a title for it, and then I would add a tag, called a test project, and I'm going to create that. That gives me a little bit of just basic functionality, so I could maybe create a collection that gets everything. If you have kind of things all over the place as you start building this, but this would be the main project. Probably go ahead and star this, put it over here in my favorites, and start building things out depending on what you need. Do you need a goal? Do you need to write some notes on, resources, or perhaps, maybe a checklist? Let's see if that, I don't see checklist. Let's see, maybe to-do list. There we go. Okay. So we'll do that. And then great. Yep. If we keep typing, we just get more of those. Okay. So that is handy. And then I'm going to take another look at this. We have actions and a database, which was the table or Kanban. Again, this could be nice for maybe a task list, something like that. We've already seen that it comes in to do and progress and done, which is super handy. And if we want to, we could change that or add the Kanban view again, like we've seen before. Cool. So that is really basic as far as a project, I think, getting in there. If you have any questions about this, by the way, of anything that I've been going over, by all means, please leave a comment, and then about things either you'd like to see, things I covered that you have more questions on, or anything at all like that. This has actually been kind of interesting and eye-opening for me. I wasn't quite expecting the edgeless mode to be like quite as flexible as it was. So going over here and going into this mode, I think I'm definitely going to go learn some more about how this works and kind of the power of that. But this is getting started very quickly with it. So if you're interested in using Affine, I've heard it pronounced both ways. Hopefully this will help you kind of see what you need to do in order for some basic organization and getting things started. Again, if you have a question, a comment, by all means, leave it below. Thanks.